Welcome back to the Self-Esteem and Confidence Mindset podcast with me, Johnny Pardo. Today on the show, I welcome Rosalind, where we're going to be talking about self-confidence, overcoming some limiting beliefs, and money mindset. So just a quick introduction to Rosalind, and then we'll dive into today's conversation. So Rosalind is a transformational coach and mindset specialist, leveraging her extensive teaching background to empower individuals to unlock their full potential for success and fulfillment. As a certified Canfield Success Principles trainer and certified neuroencoding specialist, she helps people break free from self-limiting beliefs and cultivate a success-oriented mindset, guiding them towards a more satisfying life filled with continuous small victories. So, welcome to the show, Rosalind. It's great to have you here. So, it'd be really interesting to hear a little bit about what's got you into this area of helping people with their money mindset and overcoming things with limiting beliefs.
Well, I really had some issues with this issue myself. You know what I mean? I had those limiting beliefs that money doesn't grow on trees. And money does grow on trees. It's paper. At least where I come from.
True.
Other people might use gold and stuff like that, but where I come from, they actually print money. So it does grow on trees. Um, so I know that's not what people think of when they think of money, but when we change our thinking towards money, we become a little bit more free. So that's how I freed myself up a little bit with that. But just coming from a background where, as a kid, I felt like I didn't have enough. And, I had a scarcity mindset that kind of kept me stuck. And, it's freeing to discover that you can have different mindset. So through different teachings, following different thought leaders, I came to a different opinion about money, and, you pointed out that I'm a success principles trainer. Well, the whole reason why I want to talk about money is because money affects our life. It affects the different areas of our life. I'm not talking about money because, money, money, money. It's not about money. It's about life satisfaction. It's about having the kind of success that you want. And one of the big hiccups people have is in the area of money, and it limits us in the different areas of our life. So that's what got me into money, to talk about money. But I want to talk about it in a form of success, you know what I mean? It deals with success and our confidence in life as well, which leads to our satisfaction or non-satisfaction.
Love that. Love that. Yeah, I can relate to it impacting multiple areas. Like, yeah, I tend to think it's obviously not the only thing in the world, and people are aware of that. But when I used to think, oh, it's not important and stuff. Well, actually, it can be a really useful tool to sort of support in areas like health, in things like spending time with the people you love, even though you don't necessarily need money, but treating people or going on adventures and things like that. And yeah, ultimately it's providing more support and growth to what you want to do. So yeah, I totally relate to it impacting multiple areas of your life. I think that's a really good point. Definitely.
Yeah, because if you don't have money, or you have anxiety towards it, you're not going to do the kind of things that you want.
Mm.
Another thing I really want to talk about is where these beliefs and thoughts really come from, because
Mm.
we kind of get them when we're little kids.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to dive a little bit more into that, into like where these thoughts come from, and actually how do we start identifying them and then working through them.
Absolutely. So, our thought on, what we have in our heads, our thoughts stay with us and they come from when we're little. As far as money, within the first 7 years, that's where we're programmed as to how money works. Okay. What we hear as children, what we see, and as well as what we experience. So, what we hear is, we can't afford that right now. Money doesn't grow on trees. Um, you know, things like that. Don't waste money. We don't have a lot of it. And that lets you know that, you got to act a certain way versus like if you came from a family that had plenty of money, you can use that. You expect a car when you're 16 years old, you expect to go to a prestigious company and you're expecting that even as a little kid because you've seen it with other rich people or so their expectations are going to be different. um they expect their parents to pay for the college. Now if you're coming from a limited background, you might know that you might not be able to afford college, or you might have to put it off, or even that you pay for it yourself if you want to go. Or you're looking for a scholarship. You got to get a scholarship, get into sports so you can get a scholarship. So those are some of the things that you hear or see. Or I kind of mixed it up. I wanted to kind of separate it. But the car situation, you saw that happening for others. So now that could happen for you. And if you come in a limited income, you're thinking, you know, you're going to have a junk car if you get something from your parents. So you're not expecting, that nice brand new car with the red ribbon on your 16th birthday or whatever it is. And then as far as what you experience, when I was a kid, I had people picking on me because of the clothes that I wore and stuff like that. They thought they came from the secondhand store um, and stuff like that. And, that wasn't really true, but it impacted how I felt about money. So, what you see, hear, and experience as children before the age of 7 still affects how you deal with your money now. And it actually is like 95% of how you deal with your money now.
So from that young age, a little bit, yeah, and that makes sense because we're always taking on information around us, what's going on, and especially those young years when we're more what's the word I'm looking for? More likely to take on sort of like beliefs and information going through that stage. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it
just
can
kind of
create certain beliefs.
downloaded right into us.
Yeah, absolutely. What in terms of like being able these beliefs, right? What's your kind of view? Are we like stuck in that way, or can we do something about it? Perhaps we did come up from a because I've seen people sort of come perhaps from those challenging backgrounds with money and actually maybe become a multi-millionaire. So are there ways in which we can kind of change our situations, our beliefs that are ingrained in us?
Well, there is, but it's not about money.
Mm.
Okay. So you can't just change it with money because um, just say you won the lotto, and I don't know if y'all have lotto, but you won a
Mm.
significant amount of money, then all of a sudden you're broke again.
Mm.
Why is that happening? It's because it's not about money. it's about your mindset. And so you have to start to unravel your mindset around money. Okay. You have to come up with a new belief to replace those beliefs that you have. Okay. So one of the things that you can do if you're wanting to, upgrade your mindset is to take an inventory. Take an inventory of where you are right now. Ask yourself, what are my beliefs? And just think about it for a little while and see if those beliefs are serving you. Some people believe that, having money, having a lot of money makes you a bad person. Now, if you have that belief and you want to be a good person, are you going to have a lot of money? Even though it's not a conscious belief, something that your parents kind of passed on to you, maybe from their parents, they're not trying to pass on bad stuff, but, they got it, they pass it on to you. And it's a subconscious thing, but if you have a belief that, you're a bad person if you have a lot of money, because cartoons, and again, you're in a different place, your cartoons might be different, but our cartoons villainized, okay, I don't know, made them villains, the rich people. Okay. So in Superman, Lex Luthor is rich, but he's the bad guy. Scrooge McDuck was rich, but he's greedy. All of that. So we come to thinking that. So now that you have that belief, what can you do with it? You know what I mean? Now that you actually inventoried it, you decided, hey, I believe that rich people are bad, even though I don't want to believe that. Now you tell yourself a new belief. That's where affirmations come in. You can start to come up with new beliefs. So something simple. Not everyone that has money is bad. And then you might give yourself some examples of people that you feel like are not bad, even though they have money. So that's going to start to change your beliefs around money, because, internally, you're not working against yourself when you decide that money is bad. Having a lot of money is bad. So that's when you're making, $100,000, and each month you seem to be broke. It's not that you don't actually make the money sometimes, right? You can have a good paying job and you can't figure out why you never have any money. And it's because you got to get rid of it. You got to get rid of it. You know what I mean? You have to, because it's going against your core belief. Your core belief is if you have too much money, you're a bad person. And so you get rid of that belief so that you can have more money.
I like what you said about actually the cartoon point was a really good one. I didn't even think of that, because or kind of like general like TV or films and things like that, where it's you got some of these bad characters portrayed as rich, and therefore that's quite easy for maybe a kid watching those cartoons regularly to think, oh no, being rich is bad. And yeah, that's kind of been stuck in the mind. So I really like what you said about that. I like what you said about I thought that's really helpful with actually starting to look at, okay, so and so's a good person with a lot of money. That person's a good person and they've got a lot of money, and kind of doing that. And and also what you're talking about with the job thing, like us, you're making a load of money, but why don't I have any, right? It's the beliefs. And that's like, I've been in that boat as well. Like, had the strategy, had the planning, but I just like couldn't figure it out. Like, why I was always out of money. Like, I intelligently knew how to. I've got a project management background, you know, quite good in numbers as well. So it's always like I knew how to plan, but it's like, why am I out of money all the time? Why was I spontaneously spending like several hundred, you know, here and there, and it's suddenly going, even though I knew logically I shouldn't, and it was those beliefs. So yeah.
Yeah. So you definitely gotta get rid of those beliefs. And like I said, inventory your beliefs. Sit down with yourself. You don't gotta sit down with anyone else. You don't even gotta talk about it with anybody. But just take that time and really discover what are some of those beliefs. And maybe you don't get them all, but you start to recognize, hey, I do have some of those beliefs that you're talking about here. I didn't even know that. Okay. So, there's people that believe that if they get a lot of money, and this still comes from TV, I think, but that, somebody might try and rob them. You know what I mean? So now it's not you, but somebody else might do it. Oh, or everybody's going to come out of the woodworks and ask me for money. And so I'm not going to get a lot of money, and I'm not going to have that problem. More money, more problems, right? Isn't that a saying? And so we got to get rid of that. I think I want to touch on, if it's okay, just how it affects our confidence, our
Yes.
relationships, and things like that as well. Because I'm not talking about money for the sake of, oh, you need to be rich.
Mm.
And that's great. I mean, if we could be all rich, that's great. But it affects the different areas of our life. And that's really the big point that I want to make, that by thinking that you don't allow yourself to have money because somebody might ask you for it or take it from you forcefully, or kidnap your kid, and demand millions of dollars, because that's the kind of shows that we have here. And having a lack of money because of our beliefs affects our self-esteem. It affects our self-worth, and it erodes our health, because we have anxiety, we have our worries about money, because we really want to do some things in our lives. We might want to go on vacation, but now we can't because we spent all our money. So again, it's not necessarily that you don't make any money, but we spend all of it in different ways, and now we can't do what we want, and it causes issues with our health, our mental health. We can become depressed because we don't understand why we can't ever have any money. We want to save the money, but we can't. We might not go out because we're going to avoid going out to dinner because hey, we got to save money. We're trying to save money, but we're spending it in the wrong ways. So we're not going to go out with our friends to do movies and go out to dinner because we're constantly trying to work around something that isn't just a money issue. It's a mindset issue. So now we're compensating for it in ways that doesn't actually work, because now we're not going out to eat, but then we're doing something else with our money, buying 10 pairs of shoes or something, because we still got to get rid of it. So
Yeah, we can. Yeah, you can definitely see how it's related and impacting mental health, even though it's not an obvious necessarily link, but it does. If you're not going out, you're not able to do these things because of money, and it's things, you know, you enjoy, or even just that, yeah, it, or even maybe looking after your health as much as you could be. Yeah, like I'm totally with you in how it can impact. I mean, yeah, when I've been a lack of it, it's like I can do this or that. Um, yeah, so like understanding money for me was a really key thing, and I'm glad we're obviously talking about it today. Um, one kind of, just before we sort of like start to wrap things up, I kind of wanted to touch on like working on our like mindset, our money mindset, some of these limiting beliefs. Is this something when you were working through it, or someone you know, people you've helped work through this? Is it something that you find is useful to like think about every day, like every week? Is it just, you know, some people like Tony Robbins just go in and obliterate like these kind of like beliefs over a few days? What do you find is kind of like the best approach, or is it kind of like an ongoing process of working through some of these money mindset?
I think for most people, it's going to be an ongoing process that's going to take a while. You know, it's not going to take a couple of days.
Mm,
And a lot of times when we try and rush it into it in that way, kind of doesn't stick. So long-term goals, as far as that goes, and repetition. So that's what I meant by like affirmations, but um, not just affirmations, but just catching yourself with that thought, like, oh, there I go again, thinking I can't buy that because it's too expensive. Okay, change your language. I'm not going to buy that right now because I'm going to save my money for something else, but not because it's too expensive, because even that lets you know that you're in a scarcity mindset. So just catching yourself with that and letting yourself know, no, that's not the reason. It's not because it's too expensive. Because if I wanted it, I would get it. It's because I want to save it for a different purpose. So just changing your language is going to help. So when you notice that you're saying something, even just in your head, you didn't say it out loud, but you thought it, you're going to go ahead and I would recommend actually saying something to yourself out loud, you know, as long as you're not in public or, you know, embarrassing yourself or something like that. But, you know, acknowledge it in a way that says, no, we're going to lose that thought. We're going to think this instead, so that you put it there in place of that. No, I can't afford it. Money doesn't grow on trees. I need to buy the cheapest thing because I have to save every penny. You know, it's all scarcity mindset. So we gotta draw back into, you know, I am abundant, and this is what proves it. You know, I have this. I'm abundant, and I choose to spend my money in a different way. So
love it. Amazing. Yeah, bring that empowerment back. So, Roslyn, thank you so much for everything you shared today. Just before we wrap up, what is your number one confidence tip that you would like to share, if you can think of one? And then also, where can the listener find out more about you if they want to get in touch, they want to find more of your resources?
my confidence tip is that you have everything that you need within yourself.
Ooh,
Okay. You have everything that you need within yourself to make money. You have everything within yourself to succeed. So if you're lacking money now, just go ahead and start to change what you're saying, because doing that internal work is going to affect you. As far as finding out more about me, I have a website, moneyfreedomcoach.com. Okay, all together, moneyfreedomcoach.com. Also, I'm on Facebook under Roz Byars. And so they can find me in one of those places.
Brilliant. Love that. And love the tip there you had. It's inside ourselves. So Rosalind, thank you so much for coming on today. Appreciate you.
Well, thanks for having me.
Awesome. So that concludes our episode for today. And remember, you are in control of your own self-esteem and confidence.